with the Star? I mean, it's going to be out in May, is it?
Yeah, 31st of May.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. So, can you tell me a little bit how the album got together?
Ah, well, after our album Arkivet, I had a few riffs going on uh, with no songs, but just some random riffs. And as always, when it's time to write an album, it's really hard to get the inspiration. Uh, so it took quite a while until I had to go through some life-changing stuff, and then the inspiration just came automatically uh, from uh, from those things. So many songs came from out of nowhere, just like boom, 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 boom. And, of course, a few songs were like harder to finish, but now it's finished and soon out.
Cool. If you look at the previous albums that you did, can you explain a little bit how I have to see it in progress? Did you go?
Mm, yeah, the first album we made, Ghostlands, it was we were a new band. We
Hmm.
had only released a short EP, and at that time we were more like into mixing up black metal vibes with rock and roll, like dirty garage stuff. But then the first album came, and it was much more what do you call it? Much more diverse. We had more atmospheric stuff. We had rock and roll stuff, some folk-ish tunes as well. Uh, and we were really scared when we released it. Not scared, but we were suspecting that people was like gonna uh, think that we were too diverse, that we didn't got an identity. Uh, but we only got like good reviews, and people seem to like it. So and then the natural progress from there, we did an album called Nattarvet. It was more Scandinavian in the vibe, more folkish, not folk metal, but more like uh, more of our cultural heritage mixed into it. Uh, Many people celebrated that album. That was when we gained recognition, I think. Uh, and after that, we took a step away from like the folk tunes, the folk vibe, I will say, and did Arkivet. It was set in a more modern, dystopic society. Uh, and now we're gonna release The Star. And where does this belong, you may ask?
Yeah.
It's a mix of everything. Of course, you will hear it's Wormwood, and uh, we got some folkish tunes, we got atmospheric and calm vibes, and we also got more fast, aggressive, black metal-ish vibes to it, and straightforward rock and roll, I would say also.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, when I was listening to it, I find hear a little bit of the post black metal towards the more melodic side, melodic death maybe combined. So I
Yeah, I
thought it was
guess.
a very nice combination. Can you tell me what was the biggest challenge when you were recording the release?
The biggest challenge is always to find time, struggle against time. And coordinate everyone uh, in the band, deal with the studios and everything like that. The creative part was not hard, I would say. All the songs was finished. We had great demos for everything, and all the arrangements and everything was almost 100% when we entered the studio. But uh, it, you know, it took many months to finish it. But if I think we could do that like in 2 weeks if we had the time. But yeah, life also happens during the recording sessions. So
Yeah, that's I can relate to.
yeah,
Let's look a little bit at the songs that we can find on the album. I would like to ask you to tell me a little bit about the opener of the album. I cannot pronounce it correctly in Swedish, so I leave that for you.
yeah,
Shooting Star, was it like in English?
yeah. The title is in Swedish Stjärnfall, and it basically means shooting star, or star who is falling, a falling star. The title itself is related to, of course, the album title, The Star.
Yeah.
And also it's connected to our band name, Wormwood, since Wormwood is a star falling from the sky, crushing into the earth. And all the record is about that in a kind of way. It's kind of like a concept album. The lyrics is about someone who is like seeing his own universe going down the drain, and you can also interpret in how do you say that word, interpret.
Yeah.
You know what I'm meaning.
Yeah, interpretates, yes.
Yeah, you can also interpretate the lyrics as something like a person he knows that this star is approaching Earth, and what goes through his mind, the knowledge about everything will soon disappear, and what's going through a person's mind then. But you can also see it like a more personal, introspect kind of way to it also. It's up to the listener, really. Uh, but as I said, we open the album about the star with this like song about a star that is coming from out of nowhere, aiming for Earth.
Yeah. I found the vocals you have more towards the end very interesting. I found it a very combination between the more harsh and the others. Can you explain to me how you came to that?
Yeah, we have some female vocals in the end. It's two girls. One is a friend of mine, and the other is our friend's daughter. She's a kid, and I wanted some kind of like children, like a classroom filled of children singing this lyrics. But we used one girl in many takes instead. Uh, we're absolutely not the first band who mix up this innocent kind of voices with more harsh, but there's for sure something interesting when you think about it, like this really innocent, childish girl voices, and then the big monster guy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, it stood out to me. I mean, for the magazine, I listen to countless albums every year, so
yeah,
it says something if I find it interesting like that. So good.
yeah, that's good.
Um, I think the next song I would like to ask you about goes a bit further, and it's called "Suffer Existence." It's a bit darker from when I listen to it. Can you explain to me a little bit about it?
Yeah, all the Wormwood songs are dark
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
some kind of way. Of course, we really like to experiment. Well, experiment is the wrong word. We really like to write more melancholic melodies. Suffer Existence is also really gritty, like really messy sometimes, and then it evolves into this more melodic harmonies and stuff. But what was your question?
Can you tell me a little bit about the song? Like, I think the sound is very much darker if you listen to the track list like that. At that point, it becomes a bit like darker in a way.
Yeah, well, the just from the song title, you can see
Mm-hmm.
that it's not about sunshine and happy life on the beach. It is based really on melancholia and anxiety. Um Also, when it was written, the music, the vocalist wrote the lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote the song. But when we put it together, I was in a real dark place then at the time. Uh, I, I knew that he had some kind of working title for an older lyric that didn't become something. Suffer Existence. I really like that phrase. So I told him, let's write a song called Suffer Existence, and we will build something from that. Uh, and then the song just happened. Uh, I really don't know what to say more in detail if you don't have any questions regarding it.
No, that's okay if you feel that's
It's a
enough
cool
then.
song.
Yeah,
It's a cool song. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and then I was listening to Thousand Doorless Rooms, and
Yeah.
I was wondering a little bit like how do you see that in the story of the rest of the albums? You mentioned this sort of like concept album.
It's yeah, it's not a full-blown concept
Yeah,
album, but every song is about some kind of mental apocalypse that could also be the grand apocalypse of everything. So it depends on how you see it. Uh, like a personal apocalypse, it can be for the person going through it, it can be even worse than like the total global apocalypse in some ways. Uh, the lyrics, really good lyrics. I didn't write it, so I shouldn't say too much about all the details there. But it's based on some kind of feeling that you're trapped, and you really can't get out from it. It's like a dead end in some kind of way. The music, on the other hand, in that song, uh, is really interesting, especially in the chorus. It's not really a chorus, but we change from playing in minor to a major chorus. So it's like more happy and uplifting, which is not really the most common thing in the genre, but we wanted to try it, and I think it works. So yeah, so some people, may do references to more like indie pop or whatever. but with more distortion, I guess. And the growl, the harsh vocals will, be the glue between these kind of vibes. So yeah, I
Okay.
like that song.
Yeah, I was wondering if you look at the album, which of the songs do you like to play yourself most?
Well, since the album is not released yet, we haven't played any of the songs live, really.
No, no, but
Uh,
like rehearsing or.
uh, yeah, well, I think in the future I will really enjoy to play the last song, Ro.
Hmm.
That means very much to me personally, but I also think it's a great song. Uh, I like Thousand Doorless Rooms also. It's really groovy, but it also, uh, it's a mix of blast beats and slower tempo, mid-tempo grooves. I think a good live song will be Galactic Blood.
Yeah, yeah, I wrote that
Really
down.
headbang friendly song.
Mm.
Uh, so I think that will be a good live song. It's really not that complicated to play, also, which is always good when you're on stage.
Yeah, it kind of takes you on a trip through the song with different motions in a way, I think. That's
Yeah,
why it works so well.
but as a comment on that song, and like in last couple of years as a composer, I dare myself to stay on the same riff for longer in songs. At our first album, you can hear that here's riff number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. I was really afraid to stay for a long time on the same chord progression or the same riff, because I thought to myself that the listeners would be bored. Uh, but I really like, to repeat and repeat. And then I started to listen more to other kind of music, not just hearing it, but listening to it. Like, oh, this song is the same riff or the same chord progression from start to finish. And I never, realized that until I started to listen to it. Uh, and with that said, I try to stay longer now. Uh, and that song is also a good example of that.
Can you maybe mention one of the songs then that was a big reference for you? If you.
Oh, I don't have any references at all. I barely listen to music, especially metal music these days, because I'm so occupied with writing it. But what I was talking about, I'm talking about like pop hit songs,
Mhm.
like the biggest songs in the world from, yeah, you name it, every one you can hear on the radio. uh, and I started to analyze it while driving in the car. Oh, this song is 4 chords, nothing more. Oh, this too and this too. So it's about to keep it interesting. It's more about dynamics. I'm not there yet. We don't have any song with just one riff or one chord progression. But someday I will try. Very
Okay.
minimalistic, but it can be, seriously, it can be really, really interesting and like epic and storytelling anyways. So it's about, yeah, what you do with the chord or the riffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. You said you didn't do any live shows for this release yet, of course, because it's not out yet. Makes sense. But can you explain to people who haven't seen you before live what they can expect from a live show?
Uh, no, but we really like to put on a good show, And what does that mean? High energy, uh, little jokes here and there also in between all the grief and sorrow that we communicate. Um, we really like to play live and feel the audience and the meeting between band and the crowd. I think it's some kind of magic happening there. Um, doesn't really matter if you see us on a festival or a club gig. If there's a good day or a good night, good evening, and we perform well and the audience is well, it's just fantastic. So I wish that that will happen every day, every night, of course. But yeah, expect a great rock and roll. Expect a great evening.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, do you think people like when they discover your band? Is it usually that they find you online and then go to a live show, or they find you maybe at another event and then they're like, "Oh, they're cool. Let's start listening to the music."
Oh, it's both really, both ways. Many people come from internet, obviously, YouTube, Spotify, whatever. Some people that are more like vinyl collectors, they used to find us in maybe from recommendations or just from some record store or whatnot. It's not. It is common that on festivals some people come up to us, oh, I didn't know about you from before, but this was really my cup of tea, so thank you, I will buy everything you ever made. So it's both ways.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
nice to hear. Well, I don't have any further questions. If you have any message you want to share with the viewers.
Well, this album, it means a lot for us and for me personally. I really hope that you will like it and that you will accept it as the greatest Wormwood yet written. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your nice words.
That's my message.
Yes, awesome. Well, then I want to thank you very much for your time, and perhaps I'll see you on the road somewhere.
Yeah, I really hope so. Really hope so.
Okay.
Take care.